Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jutapala Kamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatan Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sadvadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesa Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Visabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhuvya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So before we start, I would like to thank the organizers of this reading, studying. Reading means studying of Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita as it is. I've heard that this is the first time that you're doing it in 6 different languages, including English, of course, and different languages from different places here in India. That is very inspiring, this idea of teaching or reading and studying this Bhagavad Gita as it is. And especially for those who will take the quiz for the 18 chapters. They'll have this very nice, I would say nice, because then that will prove that you study the Bhagavad Gita, a certificate. So this is like some of you, because Bhagavad Gita can be read again and again. There's one sannyasi in ISKCON, he read it like over 108 times. The
ఆన్లైన్
whole
క్లాస్ ఉంది కదా.
Bhagavad Gita as it is. So I'm gonna say thank you again for inviting me. This is a great privilege to say something about the importance of reading Bhagavad Gita. Because nowadays, many devotees are very busy. And it is quite hectic, especially for the grihastas to have some time, especially for the time to read Srila Prabhupada's books, especially the Bhagavad Gita as it is. So this month especially is very important. It's Kartik time. It's good that you're starting Kartik time. Maybe in 1 week or so, I think you will start, or in the next few days.
Tomorrow onwards.
Is it
From tomorrow onwards.
tomorrow? Oh, very good. It's very auspicious. Because Kartik will be finished in 15. No, today is the 3rd, right? So there's around 12 more days or so of Kartik. time. So is it gonna be weekly, a weekly gathering or meeting?
Week every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Maharaj, for per week 3 days. So it will end
Oh,
on Gita Jayanti day.
ah, very good, very appropriate.
Yes,
Gita
Maharaj.
Jayanti, I was gonna mention that it's in December, right? Which
Yes, Maharaj.
date is that?
I think 15th or 11th something.
All right, that's fine. Gita Jayanti, that means the appearance day of the Bhagavad Gita. That was the time when the Bhagavad Gita was spoken by Lord Krishna to Arjuna. This is in the middle of the battlefield. Many are saying that Bhagavad Gita was only written 200 years ago or something. But no, if one goes to Kurukshetra, especially in that area, the specific place where the Bhagavad Gita was spoken over 5,000 years ago, place called Jyotisar. Jyotisar. We have a very big temple right now being constructed. And hopefully in 2 years' time, there is a Arjun Krishna temple there. And that is like one of the last projects of our Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami. Project, in a sense, it is Prabhupada's project, but he was commissioned by Srila Prabhupada to have a temple in Kurukshetra, especially Kurukshetra of it's a holy dham. Dhamma means abode, where the Supreme Lord and his different incarnations perform their pastimes. So Kurukshetra Dham, because Lord Krishna spoke the Bhagavad Gita there specifically to teach Arjuna for the benefit of humanity, actually. The Bhagavad Gita is a guidebook for all of humanity, not just for Arjuna, or only the message is only good for 5,000 years ago, few thousand years ago. It's good now, and it'll be good for the next 10,000 years. Mm. It even mentions in the Bhagavad Gita that this knowledge has been spoken by Lord Krishna first to the sun god Vivashvan, then Manu, Ikshvaku, to the royal order, especially because they're the ones who was meant to have their subjects or the citizens to be Krishna conscious for their protection. When it says that in Bhagavad Gita, do not worry, I'll protect you. The main essence of Bhagavad Gita is that verse at 1866, Sarva Dharman Parityaja, Mam Ekam Saranam Braja, Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo, Mokshasami Masucha. When Lord Krishna says, give up all your so-called religious activities, because in India specifically, or all over the world, there's so many things going on in the name of religion. But it's not really religion. Dharma, Jaiva Dharma, the real religion of everyone, especially in human form of life, because human form of life, their form of life is the one that can have his repetition of birth and death can be stopped by following the prescribed method given in the Vedas. So it says that the Bhagavad Gita is the main essence of the Vedas. We don't have one lifetime to complete, to read the Bhagavad Gita. It is impossible. But within these 700 slokas that was given by Lord Krishna to Arjuna. And before that, he says also that Arjuna was present when this was spoken to the sun god Vivasvan, and to Manu, to Ikshvaku. It's always there because Krishna and Arjuna, they're companions, eternal friends. So when he says, I will protect you, do not worry, that protection means protecting so that one whom he will be able to understand the main import of the Bhagavad Gita, then there is no more repeated birth and death. He does not have to suffer again, repeated repetition in the cycle of repeated birth and death. So the Bhagavad Gita, specifically, it was spoken in Kurukshetra, and Srila Prabhupada, he wrote the translation of the Bhagavad Gita from the original Sanskrit, the 700 slokas, and also he was able to give his own purports. He was able to, because he's a self-realized soul, a Nitya Siddha, eternally liberated soul, coming from the disciplic succession, Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. It says, though, that the first manuscripts of the Bhagavad Gita, somehow it was exchanged for some tea biscuits. Then the second one he wrote, then it was stolen in New York City. When he was staying at the Bowery, Lower East Side. And then the last edition of the Bhagavad Gita that was printed by the Macmillan Publications in New York. Then from there, the thousands and thousands of devotees were made by having read the Bhagavad Gita as it is by Srila Prabhupada. And it is the most widely read edition of the Bhagavad Gita. Prabhupada says that at least there's about 700 different editions, translations. Bhagavad Gita is the most translated and given meanings or explanations by different personalities, both devotees and non-devotees. But all over the world, Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita is the most widely read and used. So the message of the Bhagavad Gita is for everyone, and it answers all the questions. This is whatever question we may have pertaining to the problems of life. It says here, yes, problems of life, how we can become peaceful, how we can develop good qualities of a human being. It is there, how to be truthful, how to be kind, and even how to be peaceful, even though, yes, the Bhagavad Gita was spoken in the middle of the battle between two families. And because Arjuna, as a Satriya, and at the same time, he's a saintly personality, is a devotee, this is the criteria of how we can understand the Bhagavad Gita, is to be a devotee of the Supreme Lord. Bhakto sime sakacheti. Because you are my devotee and also you're my friend. That's why this very confidential knowledge is being given to you. And Lord Krishna, in the Bhagavad Gita, he says that you just do your duty for my pleasure. And do not be attached to the result. So this is very important, because of many different commentaries, or explanations of the Bhagavad Gita, and some of the explanations or commentaries saying that we should surrender to the personality within Krishna. No, we should, because there is no difference between Krishna and the person within Krishna, because he's absolute. Even Mayavadis, they will comment on the Bhagavad Gita. But then, because of their Prabhupada says this word says Bhagavan, Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. He didn't say Shri Krishna said. No, when it says Bhagavan, I was listening to a class this morning of Srila Prabhupada. I make it as a habit, a daily habit for me to hear Prabhupada's lectures, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and other books of Srila Prabhupada. He says that Bhagavan means the personality of Godhead, the supreme personality of Godhead. So you cannot refute that. But others, those who are impersonalist or atheist also, they will comment on the Bhagavad Gita as it is. So they twist the original meaning of the Bhagavad Gita. That's why Prabhupada, he named his commentary of the book Bhagavad Gita as Bhagavad Gita as it is. So this is very important. We have to understand the Bhagavad Gita from a devotee. And to read Bhagavad Gita, you don't need to be a scholar. You don't need to be a highly educated personality. No. You must have heard of the story of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu while he was traveling in South India. And there was a Brahmana, and he was instructed by his spiritual master to read the Bhagavad Gita, the 18 chapters daily. So this Brahmana actually is illiterate. Just like Srila Gaur Das Babaji Maharaj, he's also illiterate. He cannot even sign his name. But he was the spiritual master of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who was the greatest scholar of his time, the Guru Maharaj of Srila Prabhupada. So this Brahmana, he wanted to please his spiritual master, even though he does not know how to read. So sometimes his friends, when they, because they know that he's illiterate, when they pass by him and he was trying to read the Bhagavad Gita, they will laugh at him. He will say, "What is this? How is he be able to read the Bhagavad Gita?" But then Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked him, "So why is it that sometimes I see you crying when you open the pages of the Bhagavad Gita?" He says, the Brahmana says, "Well, I'm crying because whenever I see the picture of Lord Krishna driving the chariot of his devotee, Arjuna, I can see the love of the Lord towards his devotee. He put himself in a lower position. He's like serving the devotee. Huh? Where can you find the boss of a company driving? He's in the driver's seat, and the worker is in the back seat. You cannot find this, but this is possible in the spiritual platform. So Prabhupada says that yes, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he concluded that this Brahmana actually has understood. He understood the meaning of the Bhagavad Gita. So one not necessarily has to be very, very highly educated academician. No. Prabhupada says also sometimes these uh, professors, they know also Bhagavad Gita. They can recite so many slokas, but then in their private life, they are not following the process. They eat meat, they take intoxication, they do all of these different nonsense things. So in order for us to understand the Bhagavad Gita, we also have to follow the process that's given to us, following the four regulative principles: no meat eating, no illicit sex, no gambling, and no intoxication. And Prabhupada says, ultimately, the main purpose of these books is to convince the reader to chant the holy name of the Lord. When we read the Bhagavad Gita, ultimately we will conclude what is the message of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also, because the message of Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, to surrender everything, and the message of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to chant the holy name of the Lord is none different. So when we read the Bhagavad Gita, we will come to the conclusion. Bhagavad Gita is like the beginning of spiritual life, that we will ultimately surrender unto Lord Krishna and to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by chanting the holy name of the Lord. Yes, Prabhupada says that. These books actually is not just meant for distribution. These books are meant especially for my disciples and my followers to read. And Prabhupada says that also, that my only criticism to my disciples is that they're not reading enough my books. Reading Srila Prabhupada's books, it's like an encyclopedia of spiritual knowledge, from Bhagavad Gita, Shrimad Bhagavatam, Nectar of Devotion, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Nectar of Instruction. This Shri Ishopanishad. Actually, Prabhupada says the Shri Ishopanishad is like the kindergarten. It's like, when a child goes to school, he doesn't go grade 1 immediately. First, you go to uh, kinder or pre-kindergarten, and then kindergarten, and then grade 1, the elementary. So Prabhupada says that the beginning of spiritual life, the elementary spiritual knowledge, is given in the Bhagavad Gita. And then after that, we go to Srimad Bhagavatam, the intermediate, the college level. And then there is a doctorate level, the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So when Prabhupada was in MIT, and there is this university, big university, one of the most prestigious universities in North America. So there, in this university, there's about 4,000 different departments. So the beginning of his lecture, he asked, is there any department here that teaches about the science of the soul, that what will happen to the person after death? And they cannot answer. So this is Bhagavad Gita teaches us that we are not this body. This is the first teaching of the Bhagavad Gita. We're not this body, we're spirit, soul. And Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. He is the supreme proprietor. Prabhupada says that also, that if we can understand this 5th chapter, text 29, that's Bhoktaram Yagyatapasam Sarvalokam Maheswaram Suridam Sarvabhutanam Yat Amam Santim Richati. If we can understand this Bhagavad Gita, this sloka, will be able to help others also. understand the Bhagavad Gita. And Prabhupada wrote this Bhagavad Gita so that even an ordinary layman, just if he knows how to read and write, he'll be able to understand and he'll be able to perfect his life. So we're all born in the darkness of ignorance. It's like in the Mangala Charanam, this is the first one. Om Gyana Timirandasya Gyanangena Salakaya Chakshur Omitamyena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. We're born in the darkness of ignorance. And my spiritual master opened my eyes with a torch of knowledge. I offer my humble obeisances unto him. So to understand the Bhagavad Gita, not just reading. Reading is different. It's the application is the most important. When we read the Bhagavad Gita, we should be able to apply it. It's what you call Gyan and Vigyan. We have to receive this from the disciplic succession, or those devotees who have understood the import of the Bhagavad Gita. So reading Bhagavad Gita frees us from an anxiety. Because if we understand that we're not this body, then we will not be affected. Ultimately, Arjuna, he was convinced by Lord Krishna. By understanding that you are not this body, you're a spirit soul. And actually, you cannot kill the soul. The soul cannot be cut into pieces. It cannot be burned by fire. It cannot be wet by water. It's eternal. Even though it says that we have a beginning also, in a sense that we were created, the living entities. Krishna is the source of everyone. And however, there is no time that can be traced when we were created. So this is very important. We came here in this material world, we become contaminated by the modes of material nature. Yes, 5 items are being discussed. 5 subjects is being discussed in the Bhagavad Gita. Isvara, Lord Krishna. Jiva, the living entities, 8,400,000 species of life. Then there is karma. That means the law of nature. In the Bhagavad Gita, when we read the Bhagavad Gita, there are 2 chapters saying karma yoga, but then there's another one, the 5th chapter, it says karma yoga, action in Krishna consciousness. So activities that we perform, if it's under the modes of material nature, yes, prakriti is another one. Goodness, passion, and ignorance. If we perform activities, even in the mode of goodness, there is a reaction that we have to come back again. So Prabhupada says, good is not good enough. Good is still bad. Why? Because you have to receive another form of body next life in order to receive the reaction or reward, receive that reward. And if it's done, if activities has been done through in the modes of passion and ignorance, then there is suffering, almost hellish condition, like in the animal form. So the Bhagavad Gita will give us the knowledge whereby we don't have to take birth again. So there'll be no anxiety, because knowingly for the devotees, there is no death really. Death is only in the body, but the soul remains the same. And for the devotees who understood after reading the Bhagavad Gita, when they take birth again, they just continue from where they left off. And this is one of the most important messages of the Bhagavad Gita, that somehow or other, after reading Srila Prabhupada's books, the Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and other books, that when we perform bhakti, because by reading, we should be convinced to serve the Supreme Lord. That if we're not able to have it completed, let's say we only accomplish 11%, and Prabhupada says there is no loss or diminution. This is one of the verses. Prabhupada says, we will, again, next life, we will begin from where we left off. So there is no loss for this execution of the Bhagavad Gita. And Prabhupada says, this is not my opinion. This is not my opinion. When he gave his commentary, this is also coming from the disciplic succession. So it says here that the main thing that the Lord says is that only by the process of bhakti yoga, bhaktyamam abhijanati yavansh shashvi tatvataha, can someone be able to understand him, the Supreme Lord. Bhakti yoga means with love. You utilize your mind, intelligence, and body in Krishna's service. Even in the Bhagavad Gita also, this verse, this manmana bhavamad bhakto, it was repeated twice. Why Lord Krishna will repeat this? This is also one of the main essence of the Bhagavad Gita. Because of the material energy, we are also constrained by time. This is the fifth tattva, or the fifth truth of one of the five truths of mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita, that we also are under the jurisdiction of time. Time is the impersonal representation of Lord Krishna. We don't see time, but we feel time. But we see time also as day or night. But time is eternal. Of all those five messages, tattvas, everything is eternal except karma. So many things that we've done will be decided at the time of death. Whatever activities that we have performed during our whole lifetime, actually, whatever we're doing now, whatever we're doing at this moment, will decide our next life. We are already molding. Bhagavad Gita says we're already molding our next life. That means when our next life is ready, that means when we are ready to move on to our next life, then we'll take birth again, either in this material world again, or in the spiritual sky, in the Vaikuntha planets, or if we are in that caliber of a devotee, which actually Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that we should follow in the footsteps of the Brajabasis, because of their love towards Lord Krishna is unconditional. Then we'll also have a form or a body in Goloka Vrindavan. Goloka Vrindavan, the topmost planet in the spiritual world. So according to the Bhagavad Gita, if we read Bhagavad Gita, it says nothing happens by chance. There's no such thing as luck. No, there is a predestined. Because of this karma, there is a predestined materially. But then karma is the only thing which is not eternal. Karma can be stopped, or karma can be changed. Instead of performing activities which is against the principles of religion, that means vikarma, then if we follow the instructions of the Bhagavad Gita, understanding, knowledge given by Lord Krishna, after reading the Bhagavad Gita, applying it to ourselves, then no more karma, akarma, or we call it, it'll become Krishna karma. That means everything will be we're all under the jurisdiction of Daivi Prakriti. That means the divine energy of the Supreme Lord. Even though this material energy, this Prakriti, is also divine, but there is divine Prakriti. Para Prakriti, this eternal nature of the Supreme Lord, where there is no more birth, death, old age, and disease. So this is our main problem, is that we have forgotten Krishna. Our main disease, according to Srila Prabhupada, is that we have forgotten Krishna. And the Bhagavad Gita will give us the opportunity to revive our original Krishna consciousness. Our mind is so polluted with so many sinful desires, so many material desires. Material desires, sinful desires means what's in it for me. But a devotee doesn't think like that. A devotee always think what is meant for the pleasure of Krishna, that I should do. And the Bhagavad Gita focuses on this, that he told Arjuna, Lord Krishna, that you fight for me. Because Arjuna, he is not able to understand what to do. He cannot decide. And actually, he was deciding not to fight. Even though Arjuna was there every time. So for others, it may take many, many lifetimes to understand the Bhagavad Gita as well. But it can be easily understood if we hear from the right source. That's why it says, Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprasnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattva darshina. Anyone who is interested to make spiritual advancement in spiritual life, one must inquire from a bona fide spiritual master and render service unto him. Inquire submissively, not in a challenging way. Inquire submissively and render service unto him. And because he has seen the truth, he will also be able to give this knowledge to that personality who is inquisitive and not inquiring just for the sake of challenging way, but really wanted to learn. So we should take this opportunity. You're going to be given an opportunity to learn the Bhagavad Gita in a systematic way. And ultimately, the conclusion of the Bhagavad Gita is that we will surrender unto the Supreme Lord through his bona fide representative, and ultimately we'll chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra without any offenses. This is the main message of the Bhagavad Gita. And Bhagavad Gita says also, in the 18th chapter, let me look at that one here. This confidential knowledge may never be explained to those who are not austere or devoted or engaged in devotional service, nor to one who is envious of me. Krishna says that in the 18th chapter, text 67 of the Bhagavad Gita. But at the same time, we're giving everyone an opportunity, especially in the month of December. It's a Prabhupada Marathon. Here in India, we distribute millions of Bhagavad Gitas. Millions. It's like in Delhi alone, there's about 18 temples there. They will distribute hundreds and thousands of Bhagavad Gitas. And Krishna says also that for those who give this knowledge to others, he's very dear to me, and no one will be more dear To me. No one else. So we want to please Krishna, even though Krishna is, the meaning of Krishna means all attractive, but Krishna becomes, we will be able to get the attention of Lord Krishna if we distribute this knowledge to others. This is the result. This is the ultimate result. It says here, for one who explains the supreme secret to the devotees, pure devotional service is guaranteed, and at the end he will come back to me. He will come back to me. There is no servant in this world more dear to me than he, nor will there ever be one more dear. So this is the final result. Once we understood the Bhagavad Gita, it's like if you know a good secret, you want to tell it to others. It's a good secret. So this is the most confidential knowledge. And by distributing this knowledge, by studying here, especially it says here, those who studies the sacred conversation of ours, that means between Lord Krishna and Arjuna, worships him by his intelligence. No one is more dear, or nor anyone will be more dear to Lord Krishna if we give this knowledge. So I pray that you all be able to understand the Bhagavad Gita in this very short time, starting tomorrow until the Gita Jayanti, and Gita Jayanti day, distribute according to your ability and capacity as many Bhagavad Gitas you can. So you'll be able to attract the one who is all attractive. You'll be able to get his attention, the Supreme Lord's attention. Okay, I wish you all the best. Read Bhagavad Gita, not just after reading this or after getting your certificate. That means, okay, I got my certificate and then so I don't need to read any more Bhagavad Gita. No, we hear Bhagavad Gita every day here. Every day here in Vrindavan, we have Bhagavad Gita. So many times we go through, or we went through the whole 700 slokas. It's like Srimad Bhagavatam also, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Both are Bhagavad Katha. One is spoken by the Supreme Lord directly, the Bhagavad Gita, and the Srimad Bhagavatam is about Lord Krishna and also his pure devotees. So I wish you all the best. And hopefully we'll see you somewhere during my travels. Sometimes we go to New Jersey also, New York area. So I'll stop here for now. If you have any questions or comment. Any comments?
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, you can ask any questions that you have related to Bhagavad Gita or about your Bhakti Sadhana or about any question to Maharaj. Maharaj is very expert. He can answer your question and he can remove the doubt from your mind.
Can someone please share? Oh, okay, this is different. Okay. Yeah, there are many. Yes, raise your hand and then Prabhuji
Yes.
will
Go ahead,
call
Prabhuji.
you.
Narayan Prabhuji, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you so much for enlightenment and motivated Bhagavad Gita reading course and like all the details provided. I have one specific question, Maharaj. You told like there are 5 elements, Paramatma, Jiva.
No, Paramatma. Bhagavan.
Bhagavan.
Isvara, Jiva, Prakriti, Kala.
Kala, Karma.
And Karma.
Yeah. So Maharaj, like Bhagavan and Jiva, we can understand like they are eternal, and karma is not eternal. But
Yeah.
the universes will be created and annihilated. That point of time, the prakriti and kala, like how it works and how they are eternal, because the material nature will be created and annihilated. I'm not
Yeah.
sure, Prabhuji, how it works, because the universes will be
Okay,
created
I
and
understand. I
annihilated.
understand. I
Thank you,
understand your
Prabhuji.
question. It's like winter, spring, summer, and fall, right? In America, you have this. In Vrindavan, they have 6 seasons. In America, only 4. Winter, spring, summer, and fall. So after winter, then spring comes, then fall, winter, spring, summer, and then fall. And then after fall, it's winter again. So it's unmanifest and it becomes manifest. There is a partial dissolution and there is the complete dissolution. But it never disappear. It's always there. But time is like that also. You've seen? You see, I have a watch. It goes round and round and round and round. It doesn't stop unless you don't use it or your battery dies up. Then you just put another battery. So it is eternal. Right now, it's almost 9 o'clock. In another place, it'll be 9:01. Another place is 9:02, and it's eternal. It's like the sun. At nighttime, we don't see the sun, right? Yes?
Yes, Prabhuji, Maharaj.
Is the sun disappeared or what?
No.
Yes, there you go. There you go. It is only our imperfect senses. At night, the sun is not there. And then the sun, the moon is not, the moon also disappeared in daytime, seemingly, but the moon is always there. Only karma can change if we become a devotee of the Supreme Lord. If you become a devotee of the Supreme Lord, Durga Devi doesn't have any more jurisdiction on you. She'll not be able to touch you anymore. Okay. So we have to know when you read the Bhagavad Gita, you have to understand this, how these things work, and it will be explained to you. It'll be like this is like a crash course on you. Like maybe you every day is like one chapter or something. But if you have the time, I recommend you take Bhakti Sastri course. You can do it online as well now. Usually it'll take like 4 months. You can go online or you can go physical. It's like here we have Brindavan Institute for Higher Education. I'm sure in different places like in Europe or in America, this is being also conducted in your local temples. There is a Mayapur also, Institute for Higher Education. I highly recommend you please attend this. If you cannot attend physically, you do it online. Then you'll see the nectar of Srila Prabhupada's books. Then after this, there is Bhakti Vaibhav, reading the Shrimad Bhagavatam. Then there is the Bhakti Vedanta, then Bhakti Sarvabhauma. By the time you finish, you'll be a liberated soul. Okay? Does that
Thank you
answer
so
your
much.
question?
Yes, Maharaj. Thank you so much.
Ajit, Prabhu,
Okay.
please go your question.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dandavat Pranam.
Hari.
Thanks for the wonderful session. So I have a question to the similar ask like 5 elements. Out of 5 elements, 4 elements are eternal. So
Yes.
as per our understanding, so nature came into picture when Lord Krishna thought to manifest something, material world, and then nature came into picture. Definitely, it will be after Bhagavan. Then when the soul got created, when the soul came into manifestation at the same time when Bhagavan or Super Soul came into picture, or soul came after Super Soul? I mean, it was created by
First,
Bhagavan.
I understand your question. The first living being in our universe is Lord Brahma. Is Lord Brahma. He's the first. Then after that, he created from him the Char Kumaras. Okay, then Lord Shiva, then Narad Muni, all these different personalities. So again, Lord Brahma, he doesn't have a father, he doesn't have a mother. Lord Brahma, he came from the lotus flower that sprouted from Garbhodakashayi Vishnu's abdomen. There's a lotus flower. There's a stem came out from his abdomen, and then the lotus flower, and Lord Brahma appeared in there. So my suggestion for you right now is that read the Bhagavad Gita first. These other questions that you may have, you can ask your teacher or your instructor, because the first lesson that we should try to understand is we're not this body. These questions will come when you read the Shrimad Bhagavatam. It'll mention there. And because it's like simultaneous, immediately, it's like time is there, but then when the material energy is there by the glands of Mahavishnu's glands, and the material world was created. And then immediately there's so many universes in different parts of the material world. And then it's in each and every universe, there is a Garbhodakashayi Vishnu. And then immediately there is a lotus flower in each Garbhodakashayi Vishnu. Then different Lord Brahmas. Our Lord Brahma only have 4 heads. In some universe, which is bigger, Lord Brahma has 100 heads, 1,000 heads, 10,000 heads. It depends on the size of the universe. There's so many things that we can discuss more in this, because it is very, very comprehensive. But I just gave you a short summary. Do you understand? Do you follow?
Yes, Maharaj. Thank you so much.
Yeah. There was a question here. Sri Devi says, I thought this was supposed to be the Telugu version, but you are writing in English. So you must have understood what I'm saying. Even Telugu, if you know English, don't worry, you'll be taught in Telugu. But at least you come to the English introductory. Okay.
There is one more question from Meena Mataji. If our
Raise your hand.
aim is to break the cycle of birth and death suffering, why did the soul actually enter into this cycle?
How we came into the cycle? Well, the explanation that's given to us is that we want to be separately happy, become happy from Krishna. We want to be separated from Krishna. We avoid being with Krishna. We avoided being with Krishna. So the material world was created for those who wish to experience their minute independence. Okay? Because this is what Krishna is so perfect. There is no force. You want to stay here in the material world as long as you like, go ahead. Prabhupada says if you want to forget Krishna, Krishna will make all the arrangements through his material energy, Maya, that you will forget him. But if you want to turn away, if you want to turn away your face away from Krishna, if you want to turn your face away from Krishna, you have that independence. Now, if you wish to turn back to Krishna, Krishna says, if you take one step towards Lord Krishna, Krishna will take 10 steps towards you. Krishna is more eager for us to go back home, back to Godhead than we do. This is what makes Krishna perfect. This is what makes Krishna perfect. Otherwise, we're not robots. We have minute independence. You want to be in Maya? Fine. You want to be with Krishna? That's the better choice. Okay.
Wow,
So
thank you. Nice
we
explanation.
cannot blame Lord Krishna for us being here in the material world. Actually, he's so kind. He's giving us this freedom. But there is a price to pay. That in the material world, there is birth, death, old age, and disease. In the spiritual world, no hospitals. No Apollo hospital there. No escorts hospital. There's no wrinkles in our faces or on our faces. We're eternally youth. There's no disease. There's no cancer. You live eternally and you're always blissful. You're always happy. Here in the material world is Dukalayam Asasvatam, is full of miseries because it is temporary. Okay, so the choice is yours. Where do you want to be? In the spiritual world? Go back to home, back to Godhead by reading Bhagavad Gita and be convinced to become a devotee, or just stay here.
Mataji responded, wow, thank you. Nice explanation. Perfect explanation. Thank you, sir.
All right. Anything else?
Okay, so if you don't have any questions, let's thank His Holiness Bhakti Anugraha Janardhan Swami Maharaj by chanting 3 times Haribol. In his busy schedule, Kartik Parikrama in Vrindavan, he gave time for us. So we are very, very fortunate to have his association. We hope you all relish. Let's chant 3 times Hare Krishna Mahamantra and wind up the session. Hare Krishna, Hare
Krishna, 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 Hare Hare,
Rama,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Bhagavan
I
Sri
wish
Krishna
I wish you all the best in your study of the Bhagavad Gita and Srila Prabhupada's books. Okay?
Thank you,
Hope to
Maharaj.
see you some other time.
His
Thank you.
Holiness Bhakti
Thank you,
Anugraha
Maharaj.
Janardhan Swami Maharaj.
Thank you,
All the
Maharaj.
best.
Jai.
All the best.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Bol. Srila Prabhupada
Thank you,
ki
Maharaj.
jai.
Jai.
As it is ki jai.
Jai.
Hare Hare.
Hare Hare.
Hare Bol.
Hare Bol.
Thank you, Maharaj.